91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It is 4 o'clock on the nose. I'm Rita Ryan, your host of LocalMotion here on 91.3 WVKR, airing live each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. If this is your first time tuning in to LocalMotion, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley. Musicians that live here, those coming to perform in our area venues, and those coming to record in our world-class area recording studios. Show number 244 for me on these wonderful airwaves. Thanks everybody for tuning in, whether it's online at wvkr.org, on the dial at 91.3 or TuneIn Radio, however it is you're here. Much appreciated that you are. Thrilled to be having a first-time guest today. So many times I enjoy having my returning guests, but this is a first one, and thrilled to be joining me in about 5 or 10 minutes will be Brian Mitchell, multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist, and we're going to spend the hour on his music and talking with him and seeing what's going on. He's so talented, and I can't wait to share some of his music with you guys if you're not already familiar with the great Brian Mitchell. So he sent me a few tracks, 4 of them to be exact, and I want to get them all squeezed in on today's show. So we're going to do the first track that he sent. This was recorded live at the Drum Boogie Festival in Woodstock, New York on September 7th, 2013. And this was with the Midnight Ramble Band. Of course, that was part of one of the bands that Brian Mitchell is part of. Played with Levon Helm and the Midnight Ramble Band for many, many years. And let's start the day off, the show off with this great track. I can't wait to share it with you. It's fun. And Brian Mitchell, after we hear this, we will be talking live with Brian Mitchell. So let's take a listen to First We Tango by the Midnight Ramble Band. 91.3.
It's getting late, you don't wanna go, you wanna dance, you don't see anybody you know, your eyes caught mine, you try to look away, then you watch me do my thing and decide to stay. You hesitated when I ask you to dance, you say I'm not your type, but you go ahead and take a chance. Once I get you out on the floor, this is something you just cannot ignore now. Take my hand and dance with me. Look into my eyes and then you'll see this is what you've been dreaming of. First we tango, then we fall in love. I used to be it with a different kind of man, one who gives you diamonds, furs, anything you demand. Yeah, I know I look like a criminal, not the kind of man that thought you could love. You gotta tell yourself it's just for one night. You'll go back to all those that left you behind. Only now do we begin to understand they can't do it the way I can. So now take my hand, dance with me, look into my eyes, and you'll see. Oh, you know this is what you're dreaming of. First we tango, then we fall in. we fall in love. Now first we tango, and we fall in. Let's fall in love again. It's hard to stop you once you go there. Now one more time.
Oh, yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, is How It's Done by the Midnight Ramble Band featuring Brian Mitchell vocals. First, We Tango. Let me get Brian on the line. Brian?
Yeah.
Hey, you're there. We're live. How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent.
Good, good.
Thank you.
Boy, you just got this show going with that track, First We Tango. Man, oh, man. Whew.
That was a fun time we had there.
Yeah, I bet. I'd like to do a brief introduction, if I may. Multi-talented
Sure.
Brian Mitchell has appeared on 5 Grammy Award-winning recordings, 3 with Levon Helm and 1 each with B.B. King and Les Paul. He was inducted into the New York Blues Hall of Fame in 2015. Brian has worked with countless musicians, including the Allman Brothers, Little Feat, Dr. John, Mavis Staples, Elvis Costello, Jackson Browne, just to name a few. He is part of the Midnight Ramble Band and currently performs with the Wait Band, as well as performing with his band and Fatboy Canuch. And with that, an official first-time welcome, Brian Mitchell, to LocalMotion on 91.3.
Thank you so much.
I'm so thrilled to finally have you on the show. I've had so many members of the Midnight Ramble Band and, Levon's Barn and stuff, and this is your first time. So I do appreciate your time here today. And I'm sorry we can't have you in studio. Next time we'll do it that way. But obviously we're trying to stay safe here and limit our guests. So Brian, I always say this is your life, Brian Mitchell. Let's talk about your introduction to music. You're a New Yorker, yes? Born and raised?
In the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx.
Beautiful. And what's your earliest memory of music?
During this whole pandemic, sitting around, I've actually started remembering things like this. And I'm posting a lot of things on Facebook. And I guess my first gig was my grandmother's Italian social club. So I played for a bunch of Italians.
I love it. And what did you play?
I played accordion and piano, and I played, I started thinking about what songs I played, and I was able to figure it out. I played Bad Leroy Brown. That was the piano was a hit at the time, so I could do that. And then I played Come Back to Sorrento, Dean Martin, my version of Dean Martin.
Oh, my God.
And these Italian ladies, they were jumping on. It was like a very earliest memory. It was like I was a rock star.
Oh, that's
they were
awesome.
jumping up on the tables and screaming.
How old were you?
8 years old, I think.
8 years old.
Like that.
So when did you start playing the piano?
Well, I must have been about 10. I started when I was about 8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a way for my mom to, she started taking piano lessons as a housewife just to, do something else.
Yeah.
And I would just sit down next to her and start playing. And then one of the reasons, actually, it's a funny story, she sent me for piano lessons because we had certain family members that, let's say, were involved in nefarious activities. And she didn't want me to end up hanging out in bars and clubs and like that, nightclubs. So she thought by taking classical piano, I would lead a cultured life.
Uh-huh.
And and I don't think she counted on where I ended up, but she's cool now.
She is. I met your mom that time we saw Larry and Teresa at the Falcon.
Oh, no kidding.
She's absolutely stunningly beautiful, your mom. She is.
I will tell her you said that.
Oh, please. I hope she tunes in because she really is. What a classy looking lady. And she was I think it was your birthday, Brian. Weren't you hanging out your last?
Oh, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yes. And we had cake. Layla brought cake in and it was just like a really fun night. And you sat in with Larry and Teresa at the Falcon whenever your birthday was. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah.
February 13th. This year? This year or last year?
I think it was this year.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
How the world has changed since.
Oh, I know. Right?
Wow. Yeah, well, hey, you had a fun birthday. That was for sure. So tell me about more like childhood. Did you take piano lessons or you just watched your mom?
Oh, no, I took classical piano lessons.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And so I started with a disciplined kind of approach, but already when I had a young age, let's say, for instance, I would play a Beethoven sonata, and I would start making stuff up in the middle of it. And my teacher said, what do you think you know better than Beethoven? And I guess I was the kind of kid that said, well, I got to express myself,
Right.
So I sort of had that tendencies as a kid even. I was like, well, Beethoven did it that way. I do it this way.
I love it. I love it. Improvisation on Beethoven. Beautiful, Brian.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing. Did you play music in school?
No, never in school. My family moved around a lot, so I was never part of a, I guess I changed schools around all the time.
Yeah.
My dad used to just change jobs a lot. But I eventually went to school at San Jose State out in California.
Nice.
And I got a degree in music, way back when.
Wow.
And
what kind of degree? Performing, composition?
Performance, improvisation, and jazz. I mean, I went in as classical, and I came out jazz and everything else.
Right.
It was just the nature of what it was out there. This was kind of like the San Francisco Bay Area, and the school was like the remnants of the hippies hanging out. So when I got there, they were like, man, you need to express yourself. And I said, oh, my God, this is my school.
Yeah.
This is my kind of school.
Yeah, perfect you found it.
I went to a perfect school for me. They just turned me loose and said, find your own expression. So, and I was able to, in addition to playing jazz, I started playing blues and R&B and clubs and things like that. And I'd stay out till 3 a.m. and I'd be late for the harmony class, and they'd say, well, what were you doing? I said, well, I was playing at a club. They said, well, then you're doing it, so that's okay.
Right, yeah, you're getting life experience. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Life experience, they were all about that.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was a good situation.
Wow. And what'd you do after college? You come back to New York?
Moved back to New York, as a matter of fact, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was still here.
Well, that's a good thing. We're lucky. When I look at your discography on your website, Brian, I mean, we could sit here all day and take up the entire hour just talking about who you played with. What happened when you moved back to New York? You just did sessions, was in a band? I mean, tell me more.
Well, when I first came here, somehow I've been involved in a lot of scenes, but the first scene I was in was the folk music scene. Mm-hmm. It just happened to be. So I started with a place called the Speakeasy that used to be there, and I used to hang out at the Kettle of Fish. And I was always a big fan of like the Beat Generation, all that. And so like I'm living in the village, hanging out in the village and playing those kind of places. Mm-hmm. So it started out with the folk scene, and then eventually I started getting into blues and jazz situations over time, and that led to certain avenues. Like for instance, there was a guy named Stan Bronstein who he played with a lot of people, but he had a big band that played jazz and blues. And when I played with him, that's where I met Jimmy Vivino and Larry Campbell and many other people. So just playing with that one guy turned me on to a lot of people, and then that seems to be the way it's been for me. You go one way and you go down that road and it takes you somewhere else. And it's kind of my whole thing about music has been that way.
Yeah.
And then I met Jimmy Vivino and Larry. I met Levon Helm, and then that turned into a whole other thing too. So.
Wow, what a time! Every time I talk to Larry, Larry and Teresa were my first guests on this show.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah, 244 shows ago. Larry was a big supporter, and he always said, "Rita, when you get that show about local music, you let me know, and I'll be your first guest." And Larry, holds true to his word, and he was.
Sure.
And I mean, the beautiful stories about Levon. I mean, give me some of that. Talk to me about when you first met Levon, the first time you met him.
Well, the first time was I had some personal stuff going on in my life where, and I ended up, I didn't play music for a few months because of certain, the deaths or whatever. It was but anyway, Jimmy Vivino called me up and said, do you want to go up and take a ride up to Woodstock to play with Levon Helm? And it was kind of the thing that got me out of bed and said, I'll play music to do that. I will get out of bed and do that. Mm-hmm. So he took me up, and the way Levon was, it was about fun. He was never, he wasn't seeking me out, or was I seeking anything out? I just showed up, and he said, "You're going to come next Saturday?" I said, well, yeah, that was a hell of a time.
Sure.
And, and a lot of the guys in that band, it was like that.
Yeah.
My friend Clark Gayton, who I play with, with Canooch, he came up, he was just subbing, and then he said, "Is that trombone player going to come next week?" I said, "Well, I can call him."
Yeah.
And he did, and he was there ever since. And so that's the way Levon worked.
Right. It just all kind of morphed together. Man, what a horn section you guys had. And then you, of course, on the B3. When did you start playing the B3?
Oh, actually, when I went out to San Jose State, because there was a Hammond B3 sitting there, and this is 1979, and this was when it was no longer hip. Nobody used Hammond B3s. Huh? And I saw this thing, dusty, with, and I said, I saw it sitting there, and so I pulled it out. Nobody played B3 at that point around, at least where I was at. Mm-hmm. So, and it's kind of the same thing. Same thing with the accordion, where when I started playing accordion, it really wasn't a lot of players.
Right. And did that happen in college too, the accordion?
It happened early, yes, but I didn't actually play it. I had one, but when I came to New York and was around the folk music scene, that's when I started. Actually, I just started playing it because you can play it in the park, right? You can walk up and play it at a bar. So, the same thing. Wow. I actually had a great accordion. The one I had a bullet hole in the front of it.
Oh my God!
I don't quite know what that was, but something about playing an accordion with a bullet hole
gave it a little character. Did it?
People pay attention. The people pay a little attention when you pull that thing out.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And boy, so you spent all that time with Levon, right? 10 years. You guys did the Midnight Ramble Band.
And I tell you what, I don't know if you know about this, but I just recently moved up to Woodstock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I live right off of Levon Helm Boulevard, which I think how apropos is that after all these years?
Oh, man.
I never saw that coming, and I think it's perfect. It just seemed like it was in the cards.
Brian, that's the way your life seems to roll, it sounds like.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's kind of like you really just kind of are in the right places at the right time. So that's beautiful. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I've only been to a few rambles with Levon, but your stories with that, I mean, you guys played with freaking Mavis Staples. You had, I mean, come on, so many people. I mean, what were some of the ones that stand out?
I was just going to talk about that. Somebody brought it up the other day. When Mavis came and played with us, which was amazing. They actually filmed it. We did a record. It didn't come out.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out.
Yeah.
It's there. But while we were playing it, was a hailstorm. And we just kind of went outside to just sort of look at it. It was kind of crazy. It was like an apparition happening with all the snow and ice. And Mavis starts singing that gospel tune, Didn't It Rain? And she starts clapping here, Didn't it rain, children? And then Levon starts, and then she goes, they don't know these songs, Lee. And then the two of them are singing there, and I was like, this might have been one of the top 10 greatest things I've ever experienced in my life. Those two sitting on the porch during a hailstorm singing, Didn't it rain?
How beautiful.
Yeah.
I think somebody has that. I think maybe Larry told me about that. Eric Lawrence or somebody has it on video, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, good. Then it didn't come from me.
No. Yeah.
Eric Lawrence has it on video.
I think so. I think that's what he said. Yeah. Don't hold me to it 100%, but somebody took a video of it because it was just so incredibly special. They said the same thing. It was like one of the top musical moments, and it was just such an intimate experience. So, that's a cool story. What are some of the other guests that really stick out? Dr. John was up there too, right?
Oh, sure, Dr. John. I'll tell you one that stood out. Chris Christopherson, when he came, because it was one of those things which defies. Here's the thing. He came and he started playing, and as he was playing, I thought, this might be the worst guitar playing I possibly have ever heard in my life. And then he's singing, and it's barely, but it was phenomenally compelling, and it breaks all the rules. Like, whatever you think about it, I just said, part of it is he wrote these songs, but he was also so compelling and charismatic that it throws all convention out the window.
Out the window.
So that was one of my...
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Give me one more.
And the other thing, too, there were a lot of... young bands that played that, in all honesty, I had no idea who they were. And they're kind of people like Mumford & Sons and who else? My Morning Jacket. Yeah. All these bands that turned out to be great, but they were just paying tribute to Levon.
Right.
And so it was. And the other thing that was incredible was to experience the when we first started playing, there were older band fans. And by the time we finished, they were bringing their kids to the gig. So we got to see this whole generation happen. Yeah. And they're turning on other people. And so we got to I got to see this younger generation. And actually, when I was in Brooklyn, I live in Brooklyn still, but I spend my time both. But when I was in Brooklyn, I live in Williamsburg, and there's a place called Skinny Dennis that a lot of these young roots bands play. And I was just hanging outside, and these kids that played there came and said, aren't you the guy that plays at Ramble? I said, yeah. And pretty soon I started hanging out with a whole other generation.
Oh, I love it.
Of musicians, and I still play with a lot of them right now. So,
good stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, good stuff. Oh my God, so much fun. And you guys, the Midnight Ramble Band, are still playing. You just don't play often.
Sure. We actually did a video.
Yes.
A month or two ago.
In May for Levon's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have plans. From what I understand, it's Levon's birthday in May.
Yes.
We're supposed to start up again there. That's kind of the word I hear.
Right. Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, we certainly hope so too. Let's hope that live music comes back. But boy, it's that hard time. So you have all these other great bands too. Let's talk about Fat Boy Canooch. Talk to me about the name first of all.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell you the origins of the band.
Yes.
Clark Gayton and I were hanging out, sitting at a bar, and the TV was on, and it was MTV. And they had this comedy sketch, and they had this called the Hippo Meter. And it was like the top, the Hippo Meter at 10 is like the lead singer, and 9 is the guitar player, and 8 is the bass player, and it keeps going. And then finally, at 1 is the accordion. So I'm like, screw these guys, man. And then it actually dips to 0.5, the tuba. So the two unhippest, according to MTV, was the accordion tuba. So Clark and I looked at each other and said, we're starting a band right now. Here we go. And so Fat Boy Canoes was born out of that.
I love it.
And the name comes from, which I didn't, we were just thinking about names, and Clark goes, I guess the tuba's called Fat Boy in some circles. I never heard of it, but amongst tuba players. And then, coincidentally, Canucci is an Italian phrase for the accordion.
Uh-huh.
So it's Fat Boy Canucci, and then Canucci also means a woman's bottom also, which apropos too, so it all fits in.
It all fits in nicely. When did you guys start that up?
In the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow, okay.
And that was just, we would walk into bars and play tuba and accordion and just, we call it guerrilla warfare style gigs is what we called it.
Yeah.
And we just did that for a while, and now we have Tony Leone from the Ramble Band.
Yeah.
And from other things. He's playing with us. And we've got Scott Sherrard is going to do the...
Oh, he
is. That we're doing.
Oh, my God. So let's, there's this weird law that most people who see live music know about it. None of us agree with it or quite understand it. But restaurants in the area that also have music and have traditionally been music venues and restaurants, we can't advertise anymore.
I know.
But, that's just so damn crazy. So we have to take it upon ourselves to be inventive. So we can start out by just saying on October 10th, if you happen to be eating dinner at a place in Woodstock that also has music, you might see Fat Boy Canoes.
Fat Boy Canoes. Absolutely.
And tell me again who's going to be there. Scott Sherrard, of course. If people don't know, he's been on the show several times. He was the guitarist for Greg Allman for a decade, and now is playing with Little Feat. And he's just awesome. That's going to be great. He's joining you.
And Tony Leone on drums, who's now an official member of Little Feat.
Oh my God!
I don't know if you heard that.
I did not hear that. Wow.
Yeah, it just happened.
Wow.
So, and then Clark on tuba and me accordion.
Oh, my God. Come on. Fat Boy Canoe, October 10th. So Brian Mitchell Music, you also have a nice Facebook page. So people should probably, if they're interested in seeing where you might be playing, should probably check those things out, right?
And Fat Boy Canoes' page just went up yesterday.
Perfect.
So you can find, that's another one to check out.
Well, give it a like and, check it out. Oh, that's exciting. Boy, what a night that's going to be in Woodstock. You guys are going to light that place right up.
I haven't been there yet. I'm looking forward to it. I hear it's a great place.
It is a great place, and they have a really nice outdoor setup. I've only been there once myself. Really like it. The picnic tables, really nice stage. Sounds like the sound system is really good, too. I think you guys are going to have a blast.
It's another place that has great incidental music. It's the Falcon.
Yeah, imagine that.
9th.
October 9th with another band that you guys have, and so much fun. Always seeing Blue Chicken. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
let's talk about Blue Chicken. Tell me more.
Well, Blue Chicken came out of... I guess we had there was an opening at the barn to do a Halloween gig, and it's not the Weight Band. We were just looking for something besides the Weight Band, and then Jim and I talked about let's just do a blues gig, a fun blues gig. We'll just have fun, do some tunes with Randy Shalante and Byron Isaac and Clark Gayton too. And then so he ends up having this. I guess Jim had some chicken on the road that was blue and not very good, and somehow Blue Chicken came out of that.
I love it.
And then it even got a little stranger. Somebody brought chicken suits and guys have been known to put on the chicken hats and things. So
I was there for one of those shows at the barn.
Oh, were you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Seeing you guys in the chicken suit was the best. It was so much fun because you all encouraged everybody to dress up, right? And
right.
Yeah. And blue chicken. Oh my God. So that's with Jim Weeder, of course, guitar, Clark, tuba, Byron Isaacs on bass. We've got you in there, Brian Mitchell, and anybody else?
And Randy Shalanta.
Randy on drums, right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, what a weekend you're going to have! Friday, October 9th and Saturday the 10th. Hello.
Yeah, I tell you, and it's a great representation of the community that came around Levon Helm.
Yes.
I mean, we all met through there. We all play with different bands together, and that's all part of the Levon Helm family, the way I look at it.
Right. And of course, we have to talk because until this pandemic happened, you've been touring nonstop with the Weight Band. Talk to me about how that came together, the Weight.
Well, the Weight came as a tribute to the music of the band. Mm-hmm. And originally it was just an excuse by Jimmy Vivino and Jim Weeder just to get Garth out to play some music. And he did one or two gigs, and then they had some more gigs, and he couldn't make all of them. And then so I came in at an early time, and nobody intended for anything, and it just kept building and building. And now this last year, it was a pretty amazing year we had. We went to Europe. Wow. We went to Japan. We played Radio City. No, we didn't play Radio City. It was Carnegie Hall.
Oh, nice.
With Arlo Guthrie.
Whoa. Wow.
So we had a hell of a year.
With the Weight. Wow. And I'm guessing
we're working on a new record. We're working on a new record right now. Recording demos.
Oh, nice. Oh, awesome. Send me some tracks when you're done. Let's spin them on the air here and get some of the band music out there. So you guys are always so much fun. So much fun to go see the Weight Band. Seen you guys quite a few times.
One of the things recordings is we went to Big Pink.
Yeah.
And we recorded, it was just for fun, just to go hang out. And we brought some mics and we recorded there, and we got some great stuff. So we're going to that'll be part of the record. Wow. It's going to be half of Big Pink, and then half of it is live at Levon's barn that we did.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. What are you guys calling it?
To look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, but by the beginning of the year, it should be out. So look for that.
Yeah, look for that. And really the Weight, the band also has a Facebook page and website and all of that stuff. So you can sign up for email, lists and all of that, and keep up with what you guys have going on there. Oh my gosh, Brian, so much fun. And your high energy at the shows just is amazing to watch and to see, and always so much fun. I always loved when I was at the Rambles and there was that times you guys, I felt like I was in New Orleans or something. You would just stop, get up from your seats and go do that circle and do the line and just, walk through the audience, and it was fun. And you and the horn players used to do that, I think.
Plus, for me, the fun of being right across from Levon.
Yeah.
And having him smile at me and smile back. He was an incredible band leader. He really was.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time. That's another part, actually, of my life. I spent a lot of time in New Orleans.
Oh.
Just because I love that music. When I left California and I came to New York, at the same time, my love of New Orleans music started. And I thought, well, if I love this music so much, I should go down to New Orleans. So when I moved to New York, I just took a shot and went down to New Orleans, and I ended up hooking up with a lot of different people, and then pretty soon, every year I went down. I played at Jazz Fest probably 13 years in a row.
Whoa, nice.
All sorts of people like Wolfman Washington, guys from the Meters, the Wild Magnolias, and I worked with Alan Toussaint quite a bit, who ended up coming to the Ramble all the time, which turned out to be an incredible experience. In fact, that's a whole experience. We didn't even talk about that.
Tell me.
As a keyboard player, to sit, like, one of my favorite moments was at the Beacon Theater, and I look up and I see I'm sitting there playing keyboards. Alan Toussaint's next to me, Dr. John, Donald Fagen, and Garth Hudson.
Come on.
I was in keyboard heaven.
Did you pinch yourself and say, "Am I really sitting here, or what?"
You want to know? I did. I'm in front of the Beacon Theater. I just looked up. I said, "I'm one lucky son of a bitch."
Yeah, you are. Whoa.
I mean,
man, doesn't get any better than that. Does not get better than that. So with New Orleans, I love New Orleans music just like you do.
Okay.
I listen every night to WWOZ. You must know the station.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
Alexa plays that every single night while I'm cooking dinner, having my glass of wine. It's such a great station. Such a great station.
It is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So good stuff. Yeah, New Orleans. Oh, whew, wonderful stuff.
And that was that was actually another part of my, when I first started playing with Levon. He knew that I loved New Orleans music as he did. So he'd always say, "Play some of that New Orleans stuff, man." And so, I just thought of this. The second time I played with him, I pulled out some New Orleans tune, maybe an obscure thing, and he didn't like the way he played it himself. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. Sunday morning, I get a call from him, and he said, "Man, that tune you pulled out, I did not do it justice, and I want you to do it again, and I'll do it right." I thought, "Oh my God, you're Levon Helm, and you're upset that you didn't play it right."
And you did.
Band leaders that would have that happening.
That was one of the fun. Everything was fun about seeing Levon at the barn, but I loved the way that he had his drums set up because he saw every one of you, every single one of you, and that was awesome.
The other thing he did that was I've never seen anyone do is, as you've been there, when we finished the gig, he shook everyone's hand and put it up to the audience, and that was. It was two things. It was one, showing us love and respect, but it was also it gave to the audience. He was reaching out to the audience too, like, "This is my band, and I'm sharing that with you." Right,
and he was really truly grateful that we were all there. And
yes, oh yeah,
yeah. No, those were beautiful years.
Our first, our first Grammy that we won. I don't know if I'm talking out of school, but hey, I'm old enough that I don't really care anymore.
Right.
They were trying to get the band out to the Grammys to perform there.
Uh-huh.
And we had a ramble, and he goes, "We got a ramble."
Aww.
So as many people are saying, "Well, you should. This is a great career thing for you. You should come out. They're asking you to do this."
Right.
And he said, "What do I care what those people think?" So,
oh my God.
So they ended up giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award, the band a Lifetime Achievement Award, to try and get him to come.
Right.
And his response to that was, "Well, half the band's already dead, so what does that mean?"
Oh.
And so we ended up playing a ramble, and that was we were up against Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and no one thought we were going to win this.
Right, and you did.
It came in the middle of our performance. Someone goes, "You guys won!"
Wow.
And we called it the Gramble. The
Gramble.
The Grammys. We were at the Gramble.
Wow.
And when he heard that, he said, "Even a blind chicken gets a kernel of corn now and then," and everybody busted up.
Oh, man. What a great story. Brian, you've got so many of them. You ever consider starting a blog or just writing a memoir or anything?
Well, I started doing that during the pandemic, sitting around, not playing music. So I started posting stories, and I got such an incredible response from people that I actually do have a plan to put it together.
Good. Yeah.
So,
I'm glad
it'll be coming out at some point.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It's such a crazy time. But you also incidentally played music with James Maddock a few weeks ago at, the restaurant at the Falcon. I mean, how cool was that? You guys play together a lot because that sounded like effortlessly together.
Well, that was a part of the year also. In addition to all the stuff with the Wait Band, James and I went to Italy twice and played over there. We had a great response, and we've been friends for a long time. But he's actually come up here. We've done some playing up here together. He was just at the house. That's been a part of a fun thing about having a place now. We got room to have Clark comes and stays.
Yeah.
Actually, it reminds me of Levon's place. People can come up. You can do a gig and come and hang out, and we'll cook for you, and you got a place to stay.
Oh, man, that sounds like a great place. Be careful. You build a barn on there, you start your own little ramble thing going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Brian. Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you so much for your time. I'm going to keep some music going. Thank you for sending me those tracks. What I'm going to play next is Simple Twist of Fate. Tell me about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell me about it. I know
well,
it's by
that's,
Bob Dylan. I get it. But where you played it and all of that.
It's for a record in Italy. It's funny. Yeah, we were just talking about that. The two tours we did with James, they asked us to contribute to have an Americana record. There's a record. There's a magazine called Buscadero, I guess, that deals with blues and Americana music. So this is James is doing what does he do? Madame George by Van Morrison.
Okay.
But so anyway, my tribute to Dylan is what we did over there. So they're putting it out on this record.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know if you know, but I actually worked with Bob.
Yeah.
Did some recording.
How did that come about?
That came about, interestingly enough.
No, not surprising.
It was for an episode of The Sopranos.
What?
Yes, it was Dylan doing "Return to Me" by Dean Martin. And Tony Garnier called me up.
Oh, he's
and the
great.
funny thing, there were two things that were funny about it. I'm playing recording, but I grew up in the Bronx listening to Dean Martin, and I know that stuff inside out. But that was kind of it was my guilty pleasure or whatever. I kept it close to the vest. But then the older I got, the more I embraced it. Like, something, Dino is cool.
Oh, yeah,
I love that stuff, Frank.
Come on, the Rat Pack.
And I grew up with it, so I know all that stuff. So to play with Dylan doing some Dean Martin, I thought it was the perfect gig for me. And the other part about this being The Sopranos, Italian from the Bronx, like, my mother would watch The Sopranos every Sunday, and she'd call me, "Did you see it? Did you see the episode?" And so that was, to play The Sopranos, play with Dylan, and play Dean Martin. I was like, wow.
Man, your mother must have been proud when she heard your music on The Sopranos.
Well, the funny thing is, the family from the Bronx all said, "That guy is the worst singer I've ever heard. He doesn't do Dino any justice." They're not exactly, they weren't exactly Bob Dylan fans.
Right. Yeah. No, I wouldn't imagine that the two, if you like one, you may not enjoy the other so much. But yeah. Well, listen, when you get this like memoir or blog or whatever you're putting together, Brian, let's do a whole hour of talking because
I'd love it.
You've got so many great stories to tell. I'm just going to tell people, check out BrianMitchellMusic.com, and you incidentally will be playing in Woodstock on October 10th with Fatboy Canuch, and you'll incidentally be playing in Marlboro at a place that has music with Blue Chicken on Friday, October 9th. So I say go to both because
I'm all for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to spin some music. I'm going to say thank you. You and Layla enjoy, be safe, and I'll see you at a show.
Thank you so much, Rita.
You're
I look
welcome.
forward to seeing you.
Oh, yeah, me too,
Okay.
Brian. Take care. Say hi to Layla. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Brian Mitchell. Whew, I really have to talk to him for a whole other hour because I think there's so many more stories in there. But for now, let's bring it back to the music with him. This is A Simple Twist of Fate, of course, a Bob Dylan song, but performed by Mr. Brian Mitchell, whom we just had the pleasure of talking to here on WVKR. Let's take a listen to this. 91.3 WVKR.
Sat together in the park as the evening sky grew dark. She looked at him, he felt a spark and tingled to his bone. It was then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight. Watched out for a simple twist of fate. They walked along by the old canal, a little confused. into a strange hotel with the neon burning bright. Felt the heat of the night. Hit them like a freight train moving with these simple twists of fate. He woke up and the room was bare, but he didn't see her anywhere. He told himself that he did not care. He threw the window open wide. He felt an emptiness inside, to which he just could not relate. Forgot about simple twist of fate. The saxophone somewhere far playing as he was walking on down the arcade. As the light burst through a beat of shade, where he was waking up. He dropped a coin into the cup of a blind man at the gate. Forgot about a simple twist of fate. Here's the ticking of the clock. He walks along with a parrot that talks. He hunts her down by the waterfront docks, where all the sailors all come in. Maybe she'll pick him out again, but how much longer must he wait? One more time for a simple twist of fate. Tell me that it's a sin to know and feel too much within. I do believe she was my twin, but I lost the ring. She was born in spring. I guess I was born too late. Blame it on simple twist. Blame it on simple twist. Blame it on simple twist of fate.
Oh, yeah. 91.3 WVKR, Brian Mitchell with his beautiful vocals on Simple Twist of Fate, of course, written by Bob Dylan. Soon to be released album is going to be Buscadero Americano. And thank you to Brian Mitchell for joining me during this hour. If you missed part or all of that interview with Brian, I'll be uploading it tonight on LocalMotion Facebook page as well as my YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. And let's go out. We're going to do a double header now. Let's do a double header of The Weight, the band that he is a huge part of. Let's take a listen to Two by The Weight right here, right now on 91.3 WVKR.
1, 2.
Well, it's a strange world we're living in today. It's a strange world we're living in today. Everybody's so damn confused, don't know what the hell to do. It's a strange world we're living in today. There are strange things going on around here. Strange things going on around here. People acting crazy, getting wild. Don't care who's sick or who might die. There are strange things going on around here. I get up and start the day, same as yesterday. I cannot wake myself up from the street. When the nighttime finally falls, I can't sleep at all. It makes me want to get up and scream. It's a strange time to be alive. It's a strange time to be alive. When you're alone all the time, hard to know if you're losing your mind. Strange time to be alive. Same as yesterday. Can I wake myself up from this dream? When the night finally falls, I can't sleep at all. It makes me want to stand up and scream. Some say it's the work of the devil that put us in the hole that we're in. I hope the angels from above come down and show us some love. 'Cause there's no telling when it's gonna end. Well, it's a strange world that we're living in. It's a strange world that we're living in. I believe the angels are still around. Wanna put the devil back in the ground. It's a strange world we're living in. I believe the angels are still around. Gonna put the devil back in the ground. It's a strange world we're living in. I believe the angels are around. Gonna put the devil back in the ground. It's a strange world that we live in. For my old friend John, sitting in the park, where he was talking to his children, playing games till dawn. When he was young, he never had much to say, but now that he's old, he prays it's not too late. John say, give me one more day. John say, I saw my old friend John. He's coming down the road where he was dancing with his children, singing every song he knows. When he was young, he never talked to anyone. Now that he's old, he wants to teach everyone he knows. I heard old John say, give me one more day. I heard old John say. I hear him fighting with a demon. Sometimes I hear him talking to the ghost of yesterday. Sometimes he doesn't know who he's talking to, but he keeps on trying to remember all the things he could never say. I saw my old friend John standing at his door, waving goodbye children and talking to them as they grow. When he was young, he never had much to say, but now that he's old and gray, it's not too late. I heard old John say, give me one more day.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. It is 5 p.m. on the nose. We just heard two tracks by the Weight Band. Strange World, of course, both featuring Brian Mitchell, my guest during the 4 o'clock hour. And we just heard the track called Old John. The Weight Band toured all over. Like he said, they went to Europe, they went to Japan, and of course, all throughout the States. So when it's safe to do that again, you can be assured the Weight Band is back on the road. You can visit brianmitchellmusic.com, his website, keep up with all the good things that Brian is involved in. And he also has a Brian Mitchell Music Facebook page. And if you incidentally happen to be in Marlborough, New York on Friday, October 9th, you can see him perform live while you're having dinner at a local restaurant. And if you're in Woodstock on October 10th in also a restaurant that also has incidental music, you can see Brian perform with Fat Boy Canooch, featuring Scott Gerard from Little Feat on guitar, Tony Leone on drums, Clark Gayton tuba, and of course Brian on the piano. I don't know that they have a B3, but we'll figure it out. On keyboards, you'll see it. So great stuff by Brian. And again, if you missed that, I'll upload it tonight on YouTube as well as my LocalMotion on 91.3 Facebook page. So that was a lot of fun. That was a fun hour. So now we start the second hour of LocalMotion here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. This show is all about music of the Hudson Valley. There's a live stream event happening tonight that I'm going to talk a little bit more deeper about after we take a listen to a couple of tracks. Tonight they are doing a live stream from Bearsville in Woodstock to honor and memorialize Mr. Ted Orr, who passed away just last month. And we'll talk more about that. Let's take a listen right now to one of the bands that Ted was involved in, Salted Bros, right here, 91.3 WVKR.
I'm walking by myself, I hope you understand. I just want to be a lover, man. I love you, yes indeed, with all my heart and soul. I wouldn't trade you for your wedding gold. You know I love you. You know it's true. Give you all of my love, babe. What more can I do? I'm walking by myself. I hope you understand. I just wanna be a lover, babe. My love, babe. What more can I do? I'm walking by myself. I hope you understand. I just wanna be a lover. There ain't gonna be no other. I just wanna be a lover, man.
Why can't you see that? There's never a problem until you show up. If I give enough hope, you just might jump double dutch. And it ain't over. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. I know what you're up to. I've seen it before. You take what you want and then you take more. I feel like I'm drowning in over my head. You know I ain't clowning. You hear what I said, and it ain't over. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Oh, see. Oh, but it ain't over till I say so. It's all around town, the things that you do. They're talking about you, it looks like you're through. I've dealt with your kind, you know what they say. You get what you give, so baby, have a nice day. It ain't over, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. It ain't over, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. It ain't over, yeah, till the fat lady sings, yeah, it ain't over till I sing, yeah, it ain't over, it ain't over. Till the fat lady sings.
Oh yeah. Such a powerhouse of a performer. Alexis P. Suter, her 2014 release titled Love the Way You Roll. We just heard It Ain't Over. Oh, AlexisPSuter.com. She's just a powerhouse, great performer, so much fun to see live, and she leaves nothing off the table when she performs. If you are dining in Marlboro on Saturday, you can check her out live, the Alexis P. Suter Band, Saturday in Marlboro. You can check out AlexisPSuter.com and her Facebook page, and it might tell you where, I'm not sure, but that's the way we have to roll and do things right now. We started off this hour with Salted Bros, Woodstock, New York. It was the release. 2017 is when it came out. The Salted Bros consisted of Jimmy Eppert on vocals, Sal Miccio, Chris Morgan, Ted Orr, and James Orr. Ted Orr passed away in August, the beginning of August. Tonight, Bearsville Theater is celebrating the life of Ted Orr, doing a live stream free concert at 7 p.m. tonight. You can link through the Bearsville Facebook page as well as their website, bearsvilletheater.com. This is what they say. Join us in a live streamed celebration of the life of Ted Orr with performances by a selection of some of the hundreds of bands Ted has played with over his impressive musical career. The event will be live streamed from the newly renovated historic Bearsville Theater, featuring performances by 6 bands with videos of Ted to play in between performances. It will be a lovely celebration of our dearly departed maestro, who has left an incredible musical legacy that we hope will be enjoyed by all. So the live stream tonight, featuring Salted Bros between 7 and 7:20, starting off the show. Carl Berger Ensemble from 7:30 to 7:50 p.m. Blob Duo from 8 to 8:20 p.m. Chris Zaloom and Naked from 8:30 to 8:50 p.m. And Nail Thump Flow from 9 to 9:20 p.m. And last, Joachim and Futu from 9:30 to 9:50 p.m. BearsvilleTheater.com, Bearsville Theater on Facebook. Beautiful celebration to honor the life of Ted Orr. It is 5:10 p.m. Let's keep the music flowing here with the Restless Age, 91.3 WVKR.
I told you about 1,000 times that we could be here 40 nights and we would never see eye to eye. I know I'm the bad guy because you're trying to come around, and I'm still looking for a good way out. I'm still looking for a good way it's a long way down. down to the solid ground where the world is waiting. Maybe if you change your mind, you can leave it behind without the colors fading. Twice I told you about 1,000 times. You can flip a coin and play your life, but you can never do the same with mine. I know I'm the bad guy, and I can live with it for now. I'm still looking for a good way out. I'm still looking for a good way out.
Myself a rambling man, singing is my game. I wasn't born to ramble, but I ramble just the same. I'm wondering about you tonight, sing 'neath this moon by my campfire tonight. I still think about you. Do you still think about me? Years have given me so much good and most people have been kind, but 6 says I'll stay and 7 says I'll ride. Is it a future I'm waging or just charting a past? It's a question posed to the rear view glasses. I still think about you. Do you still think about all the money madness microphones, all the nights I couldn't make it home, and your voice on my answering machine? All of these friends and strangers on every side of me. There's all of cruise in which I drive and my dreams come true. Although I'm busy, I'm still thinking about you. I see, I haven't seen it in some time. I found it in the glove box underneath the old letter I've been keeping all this time. A star fell on Blue Mountain Lake and the universe collided. I woke from my bad dream and sit down beside this picture I found. Whoa, and I can't help but wonder sometimes, mostly late at night, do you still think about, 'cause I still think about you.
The incomparable Martin Sexton. It always makes me feel better when I listen to him perform. Martin Sexton, we just heard Still Think About You from Seeds, his 2007 release. Martin has just come off a stint of doing some outdoor shows. I think he's doing a few more, like at drive-in theaters and a park and all kinds of good stuff. Martin was my guest last month on the show, and always a pleasure to talk to him and great seeing him perform live. martinsexton.com for information. Keep up with him. Listen to his music.